Hello everybody, this is Gruesome Fox coming at you with my ranking of all the Zaku Is that are currently playable in Gundam Battle Operation 2. This is going to be my second ranking video, following the one I did on the Pale Rider series. And if you've seen the Pale Rider ranking video, this is pretty much going to follow the exact same format, where I'm going to go through all the Zaku Is, ranked from lowest to highest, and explain why I ranked them the way I did, based off the thoughts and opinions I gave on the dedicated videos for each of these suits. And if you do want to see my full thoughts and gameplay on each of these Zakus, those will be located in the description down below. The Zaku I series here actually did really good in terms of reception from you guys. There was a lot of really nice feedback that I got through comments on the videos themselves and community posts, which I'm really glad to see, and is something that I did take into consideration when forming this ranking. So, that aside, just to kind of state it, this is going to be all based off of my personal opinion. Really just a list I like to do for fun, similar to what I did with the Pale Riders. Really just kind of a fun little thing to do here and take a look at all these suits. So this isn't a definitive Zaku I like tier list or anything like that. Again, it is really just my opinion, so not anything to take super seriously here. And something I didn't mention in the Pale Rider video that I want to mention here, don't let my ranking of these suits deter you from playing them. This is both for the Pale Rider video and this one. If I rank a suit low or high, in the middle, no matter where I place it, if it's a suit you really like, again, don't let that affect if you want to play it or not. Really just something I wanted to get out there. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump into the video here and take a look at our first Zaku I. And starting off the list at the number 4 spot, we are going to have the base Zaku I. Now, in the case of this list, the Zaku I being at the bottom here really isn't a bad thing. It is a perfectly viable raid unit overall. There's really just one key reason why I am ranking this suit so low. But to start off with the good things for the Zaku I here, first off, this is the main raid unit of the Zaku I family. And looking at the weapons here, you do have the choice of either the Zaku machine gun early model or the Zaku bazooka early model. And while I lean more towards the machine gun, I have seen some benefits to using the bazooka. Aside from the typical instant stun, you do have a really short cooldown on this, so that is a pretty cool aspect of this weapon here. But like I said, I really lean more towards the machine gun with the Zaku I, mainly because I think for an older model of machine gun, this is actually a really nice weapon in the game. Really had a lot of fun using this, so I think that's a really big pro of the Zaku I here, just being that it has a really good machine gun option. Aside from that, since I am using the level 5 Zaku I here, for a reason I'll also get into here in a moment, being at level 5, you do get the highest levels of all of these weapons here, meaning you'll be doing the maximum damage output with these. And you do have a Heat Hawk and a Cracker Grenade. And also being so high level also means you get some really nice skills. You do get melee combo control level 2, which is not on every Zaku I. The lower cost ones have only have melee priority 1, so I believe it's for the 250 and 300 here you get the level 2. You have enhanced tackle level 5, and you do also have some nice skills as well. You have maneuver armor level 2 and interrupt tackle, so you have a nice small kind of skill list here. And really that's, again, most of what I can name here for the Zaku I is just it has a lot of good things going for it that make it viable. The main reason I am ranking the suit so low is because of the cost limitation. In current GBO2, you really can't use like the lower cost versions of the Zaku I here. 200 and 250 just don't exist. It's pretty much stuck at 300 unless you go into custom rooms. And I think that like limitation and the cost that this suit can be used in is really what's holding it back for me. I think if I was able to use this in 200 and 250, I would probably be ranking this suit higher, but at cost 300, I do think it's a cost that just has other like good raid units to play. Like if I'm going to 300 to play raid, the Zaku I is not going to be the first thing I think about using. So That's really the only reason I'm putting this so low. Again, not even because Zaku I is necessarily a bad unit or anything. Again, it's perfectly viable. It's just, if it wasn't limited at just being used at cost 300 these days, I think it would have a bit more potential showing here. But just to kind of list off the last few things I didn't mention before I move on to the next suit. Other thing with also being so high level is that it does mean you can get the most out of overtune parts, so that is another pro for the Zaku I here, but again, that cost limitation really is just the one thing that holds this suit back for me. Moving to the number 3 spot here, I did put the Zaku I commander type in this space, and this was probably the hardest of the Zaku Is for me to find a final ranking for, mainly because of the disparity of what I think of the suit and what seems to be the general consensus of this suit. It does seem like overall the Zaku I commander type, from what I gathered from both the feedback on my videos in post and also from what I managed to find online, is that the Zaku I commander type, it is an outclass support unit that is in dire need of a buff. But personally, I really don't see it like that. Like a lot of what I've heard about it being a sluggish unit, an outclassed unit, I really didn't have that when I was using it in the matches that I gathered. Especially after that feedback came in, I went back to play the suit some more, and even then, I still really didn't have any issues using this. I even did a lot better with this than I did compared to the base Zaku I. So that's the main reason I'm putting this at the number 3 spot here. But I do think the Zaku I commander type does also have some really nice things here going for it. You are a support type mobile suit, and for your main weapons, you do have a pretty good choice of arsenal here. You have the Magella Top Cannon prototype, the Zaku Bazooka, or the Zaku Machine Gun. I really like the Magella Top Cannon prototype on this, and even though I didn't connect too much with the Zaku Bazooka when I tried this weapon out, I can see why the Zaku Bazooka was also kind of popular the times I have seen this suit out in matches. That main reason being that the suit does have some really nice melee with its Heat Hawk. You can do some pretty good damage to generals with a flat downswing, which is a really cool thing here to have for this suit. On top of that, you do have a Sturmfrost for a second stun, and you also have the Spike Shield, which not only offers defense, but does work with the Shield Tackle skill. So, overall, I do really like the Zaku I commander type. Again, I had some really good matches using it. I don't know if my experience using this suit was just way different from what other players had, but really just kind of taking what I thought about this suit and from what I've heard others say about this suit, I did decide to just end up putting it in the number 3 spot here just because of that, but really with the Zaku I commander type here, I don't think the suit is really as bad as I've seen others say about it. So for the purposes of my list, I think number 3 here is a pretty good spot for it. Moving to the number 2 spot, I have the Zaku I GS, and originally this was actually going to be my number 3 spot with the Zaku I commander type taking number 2, but again, thanks to the feedback that came in, I did end up switching the placement of each of these units here, and really looking back at it, I do think the number 2 spot is a good place for the Zaku I GS. This is an overall really good unit. Some good points came in from like the comments about this being a consistent unit, which is something I agree with. I do think at 300 and 350, the Zaku I GS is able to perform its job as a pseudo self-general pretty well for the most part, so I think overall this unit is good, it is reliable, it can do pretty much most of what it is designed to do. The main reason I wanted to put this at the number 3 spot is because I do think the Zaku I GS has quite a few issues. The main one being that I think the suit is just very limited. I think it suffers from a lot of the same issues that the Slave Wraith does, and that the Slave Wraith is a suit that, by today's standards, should really have a lot more in terms of like skills and like stats. And while the Zaku I GS is definitely doing a lot better than the Slave Wraith, again, I think it does kind of suffer from a lot of the same issues. Taking a quick look at the weapons kit here, we do have the Zaku Machine Gun, the Rakuten Bazooka, and the MMP-80 Machine Gun. Preferably, I like to use the Rakuten Bazooka because it is, like most bazookas, a nice, reliable instant stun. Uh, the only thing, this is kind of a side thing here, I would love for the Rakuten Bazooka if they put a skill for the shield where it actually did block, like, some of the damage, like maybe it did like a damage reduction. I think that'd be a pretty nice aspect of the weapon there to have like a mini shield, but as it is, again, just a pretty standard instant stunning rocket launcher there. You also have a heat sword as your main melee weapon. This is the same heat sword used by the Goof and Alma Zaku, so good melee damage and much better reach compared to a Heat Hawk. You have a Sturmfaust as a sub-weapon, you have the Smoke Discharger which gives you temporary stealth and increased defense, and you have a Goof Shield for even more defense. And look at the skills here, this is kind of what I was going at with the skills being very limited. You have Lake Shock Absorber, Emergency Evasion System, High Performance Balancer, and Observational Data Link, all at level 1. And I think the only skill that goes up higher is Lake Shock Absorber going up to level 2. The higher levels of the GS don't get any new skills or anything, you're kind of stuck at these 4 skills. So, again, that's kind of what I meant when I said I think the suit is very limited, but I do also think that a lot of the issues that this suit has can be easily fixed in like one adjustment. The main thing I wanted to give it was to give it 2 melee swings. I think, like the Slave Wraith, this suit should really be able to use its melee twice. Another good suggestion that came in through the comments was to have the skill where if a enemy is downed, you'll be able to do more damage with your melee, which I think if they wanted to keep this suit at having 1 melee swing, I think that would be a pretty good trade-off to have more downswing damage if you do a follow-up. And really, like, yeah, I think there's just, much they could do with this suit to help it. Just again, really being an overall, give it some more skills, maybe improve the stats a little, and I think the suit could go from a reliable unit to a pretty good one. I guess the main issue with that would be like, not really the issue, but the main concern would be with the 400 and 450 cost versions here. Again, at 300 and 350, the suit operates pretty well, but at 400 and 450 it does end up becoming like, well, what is the suit really supposed to do? But again, for the overall performance that the suit can give you at close to native cost, I do think the number 2 spot here for the ranking is more than appropriate. And finally, at the number 1 spot here, we are going to have the Zaku I Sniper type. And yeah, this is just a really good support unit that is more than deserving of the top spot on this ranking video, because the suit is just good. It's just a really good support overall. Especially a big part of this comes from the adjustment that they gave the suit a while back, where with the beam sniper rifle here, on top of the beam sniper rifle you do get a sub beam discharge, and this has been a really nice addition for this suit, because on top of the damage you can get with the beam sniper rifle, you can get some really good damage, especially against generals with this. The beam discharge rifle is a really nice addition. You can use it between your shots here with the beam sniper, so you can go for a shot, and then go for the discharge, and then go back for a normal shot. But the discharge is also really good at melting HP, and it's also really easy to control the beam from this as well. So it is just a really nice weapon to use, and the beam sniper rifle here is just, again, really nice weapon overall, really elevates the damage you can do with the Zaku I Sniper, especially at long range as well. Both of these have a range of 850 meters, so really, with a lot of general units, you can stay a safe distance away from them, and again, just kind of melt their HP. And even though you don't have a lot of close range options, you have blow as your main melee, and not really a whole lot to say there. You do get some head Vulcans and a Sturmfaust, so you do get some options you can use if somebody tries to come after you. And since you have a high range stat, the Sturmfaust is going to be really good for that. And just kind of taking a quick look at the skills here, you have High Performance Radar level 2, High Performance Scope level 2, Observational Data Link, Frontline Support System, High Performance Aerospace Gimbal, High Spec AMBAC, Stabilization Device, and Precision Shelling. Yeah, you do get a nice skill list overall. Again, you get some stuff to help you with sniping, like the high performance radar and high performance scope. You get that stabilization device and precision shelling, so yeah, really just some nice skills to make sure you don't get staggered as easily while you are, trying to do your job as a support sniper. And again, overall, just a really nice suit. I didn't bring up the other weapons that the suit has to offer, but mainly because the Zaku machine gun long barrel here, this weapon I think definitely needs some help. You don't really see this all too often, especially on the Zaku I sniper type, but the Miguel top cannon, even though this is not a common weapon to see, I do think it still has some usage, mainly being that this weapon is capable of getting heavy staggers, though you do lose a lot of that damage output you would get with the beam sniper, so really this is here if you want a heavy staggering option, but again, beam sniper rifle here paired with the beam discharge, because if you try to use anything else, yeah, you are going to lose that discharge beam. Yeah, just really nice with the beam sniper rifle, and again, a suit that is really deserving of the top spot here. Just a really good Zaku I unit, really good, reliable sniper that can dish out a lot of damage, and really a suit that doesn't have a whole lot of flaws aside from, you don't really have a whole lot of close range options, and you are, a bit slower here, but, slower in movement, but aside from that, again, really good unit that is perfectly fitted to do its job, even at the higher cost, which is a bit more than I could say for the Zaku I GS. So, Zaku I sniper type here, having the #1 spot on the ranking, definitely more than appropriate for this unit to have. And that is going to be it for the ranking of the Zaku Is that are currently in Gundam Battle Operation 2. I will admit, I think I found this ranking to be a lot more fun compared to the Pale Rider series, and I think a big part of that was a lot of the feedback that came in on the videos and posts I made with these suits. There was a lot of good points, a lot of kind of discussion about these units, which is the main thing I really wanted to see when I was making this for the Pale Riders, is to really see that engagement, kind of see people talk about these units and what they think about them, and really just kind of the whole thing was to share just kind of the opinions on this. So, again, this is all based off my personal opinion and the experiences I had using these suits, so it isn't something to take seriously. As I said at the beginning, this isn't a definitive list or anything. It's really just kind of based off what I think about these units, but similarly to last time with the Pale Riders, I would be very interested to hear how you would rank these units if you were the one making the list, and aside from that, I don't have too much else to say here for the Zaku Is. As usual, things about these units can change in the future when it comes to unit adjustments. A unit might get buffed in the future that might change its placement at some point, so this really is more relevant for the time I am making the video. And for some of these Zaku Is, I think it would be nice to see these suits get adjustments, so if we see something like that in the future, maybe I'd have to come back and redo the list here, but as for now, this is where I'm going to be putting all the Zaku Is, and again, going to be very interested to hear what the feedback on these suits are, and hear, where maybe you would place them if it was your list. But yeah, that's going to do it for this ranking video here. Comment what you think of all these Zaku Is here, where you'd put them, what you think about them. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and with that, I will see you all in the next one. Later.